Hello, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. She's in the house to help us get our money straight. She's our money mindset coach. She's going to teach us how to bring profits in daily. And today she's going to be talking about a special topic near and dear to our hearts, earnings. So, because if you're in business, you want to earn something, right? All right.
Exactly.
So, with that, we're going to get this party started. We hope that you'll all share this out to your friends so that they too can have a profitable business that's fun to run. And we're going to get started. Coach Caren, how you doing today?
I'm good. I got a cold, so if you hear my voice
Mm,
waspy, it's because I got a cold. But otherwise, I'm good.
all is well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today we're talking about earnings. How you do it. How do you get paid weekly, monthly, or bi-weekly? However that's showing up for you. Um, what happens? And when you earn it, what do you do with it? And is money important to you? Look, you don't have
Oh,
to fall
is
in love
my
with money, but it has to be important. Okay.
okay. Cecilia says good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Cecilia.
Cecilia. So,
Hmm.
one of the big things is money important to you. It's really big, and sometimes people don't even realize. They'll say, "But money's not important to me, and I don't care about money." Yeah, money can't do anything unless you make it do something. But those words follow suit to your behavior, actions. You become a non-finisher. You don't finish things because that's just your style that you adopted. You're making choices, and yes, I know things are happening in your life that's probably causing it. But you got to be mindful of the word you speak and what you say
Mm.
and what happened. So today we talk about earning money and what do you do. So if you get paid weekly, which very few places pay weekly, but there's still people on this earth that get paid weekly, and it happens. Different industry for whatever reason pays weekly, and mostly people pay bi-weekly if you have a job, and then
Uh-huh.
monthly to another group of people.
Yes,
Excuse me.
I got that monthly check because I worked for the government, and
Right.
they had given themselves permission to pay once a month.
That's it. You got to figure it out how to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get it, you got to figure it out. Which sometimes people don't like. My mom is on pension too. And it's just a matter of sitting down and understanding what happened with that pension money and how far it goes because they're not trying to increase it on you. So it's what it is. If it's good, it's good. If it's not good, you got to figure out to supplement it. But you got to figure out how, when you get this earned money, where it's going. Now, right now, it's crazy. Prices are going up. You can't find what you want. When you find it, the prices are crazy. Everybody's complaining about gas in my
Mm.
Canadian world, how people's getting into all those things are just happening. And it feels like it's happening all one. Rents are raising like crazy.
Ooh.
People are in apartment and can't believe. And I remember when we first buy, I would rent it for my dad. I was renting my dad's house, and then he told us he's going to sell the house. And then we went into apartment, and we were watching. At least I was watching how it was raised, and I keep saying to my husband, "Are you paying attention to the raise?" And he was like, "Well, where are we going to live?" I'm like, "But are you paying attention to the raise?" And we're like, I had this discussion, and he didn't want to buy. He didn't want to buy, and we'd be in this tangled web about not buying and what have you. And a lot of opportunities that made sense, he would not go for. And then when we look back and look how, and I'm telling you this, not to bad mouth him, but just talking about how fear holds you back, because it really was the fear in him. He didn't see that for himself. He didn't. He didn't see how I see it. He wasn't there yet. And it's
Mhm.
just people belief and where they come from that dictates how they see the future. Some people just can't move from what they know to get into the unknown.
Mm.
And I'm saying this because this is the same thing goes with your pay. Wherever you're earning, you have to understand how it's flowing. If it's not enough, even if you cut out everything, it's just not enough. You got to figure out
Mm-mm.
how to make more. This part is really contingent on where you look at your budget. And your budget is simply understanding your expenses versus what you get to keep. And when you understand that, you get to know if you have enough. So I just heard, and I'm like still in disbelief that somebody's in an apartment and they raised the apartment $1,100. And I
I'm
remember years ago when I was in my flipping courses, I was doing real estate, but flipping and investment courses. And the guy was telling us things like this, but at the time, my mind couldn't comprehend that this could ever happen. And he was
mhm,
explaining how it happens and how it happened quickly, and how when you got the money, how you can get it and the things you can do. And I'm living through this, not only this year, but just over time. I watch how a lot of things that he talked about is coming to pass.
mhm,
And I'm
mhm,
saying it because this is the same thing when we as a coach talking to our clients, or when as a teacher, you're trying to tell people what's going to happen or what they need to be focusing on, because their mind sometimes can't comprehend that this is actually a possibility because it's not possible in their world. They can't
mhm,
see it. They can't see it. You know, if you're making, let's say you're making 5,000 a month net and you're fine with it, it's not like you shouldn't be contented with it, but then you should see what little more you can get over it. Because when costs of living go up every year, all of a sudden your 5,000 is worth 4,500. Yeah, and
mhm.
4,000, then it's worth less. So then you're wondering why I can't do this and that. But because it's shrinking because of inflation, that happens. Even if it's a 2 or 3% inflation, it still affects you. Even if you don't notice that it affects you, it affects you because it affects the people around you. Even if it don't affect you directly, unless you grow and you're moving in a different circle, but really because you hear it and it start happening to you. So when you understand your earnings or what you'd like to earn, you really understand where to go from there and how to move up from there. That's the first thing. But you
Yeah,
gotta know what you're earning.
yes, even if you're on a fixed, well, if you're on a fixed income, so to
Yes,
speak, there's usually some kind of COLA built in there, cost of living increase. However, it's it's usually not running at the same pace as inflation.
exactly. It never matches. It never matches.
Mm.
It never matches. I remember when a time my grandmother had gotten a big raise and a bonus, and I said to her, I said to her, so what are you going to do with the money? Because I'm always interested. I was interested in money a long time. And I would say to her, I said, I think you should just bank that money. And she's like, why would I do that? I think I'm going to do this, 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 and that. And then I remember she bought a bunch of fabric. We went to the dressmaker and she made a lot of clothes. I did get two pieces out of it. We had food like crazy. She buy the biggest piece of meat. We had pot roast, and it's not like you shouldn't have those things, but it carried through. I felt like until the money done, and then we
Mhm.
were back to where it was. Versus understanding that you can stay where you are and you can have little treats along the way, and you don't have to spend everything because when you do, it's not coming back. You can't get it back. Versus if you have it somewhere that is growing, don't matter how little, it is still growing.
Mhm.
And the growth isn't it when you first start investing or saving, it's not about the money you're gonna make. It's more so about the habit that you're forming that's gonna
Mhm.
lead you into other things and to meet other people to grow. Because once you start growing, you can't help but get into the vicinity of people. God will just send you the right people to help you and push you and uplift you because you're moving. People always say, I've been praying, I prayed and prayed, and God ain't doing nothing. He's telling you to move, but you didn't get up and move. So you just keep sitting there praying. You needed to get up and move to see what's happening.
Yes, he's done everything he's going to do. Now it's on you.
Exactly. And I'm saying this for working people first, but let me talk about if you have a business. The reason I encourage everybody when you have a business, even though at the time, in bookkeeping terms, it's owner's draw, it's not a salary, but you want to facilitate in your head how much you want to pay yourself. And
Mhm.
I stress, I said, sometimes I had this client and I said to her, I want you to pay yourself $5 an hour. And she said to me, $5? I would never work for that. I said, but you're working for nothing at the moment in your business. So I want you to pay you $5 an hour. That's it. So if you work 4 hours, it's $20. But what's going to happen at the end of the week? You're going to be paid $100. But if you don't pay yourself and you put everything back into the business, I know you think the business is going to grow tremendously, but a business is just going as far as you have enough hours and time to push it. When
Ah,
your brain understand that you're earning from the business, it gives you this urge to want to actually produce more. It is psychology happening there, whether you believe it or not. It happens. I had a psychology professor in college. Took his class for a full year. At one point, I think I'd have been a psychologist. And he said he graduated, he had his own practice, and life happened. And he and the partner opened the practice, but he didn't know money good himself. And the partner did all the money works. Stupidest
Mm-hmm.
thing ever. And the guy came to him one day and said, I don't think we're going to be able to carry through this practice anymore because we're not getting enough clients. And he said, what are you talking about? I'm overscheduled here. And he showed him the financials. Later, he found out the guy was dipping in and he didn't notice because
Oh.
he wasn't good with numbers. So they had to close the practice because he couldn't pay for the building, he couldn't pay the staff, and they were, that's how he became a professor. Like, he went back and get his PhD, and they offer him a job at the experience and what have you. Um, got whatever else he needed for here, and he said he said that's how come I became a professor. He said that wasn't the goal. He said, but what I want to tell you was when I was depressed and down and out,
Mm-hmm.
nothing happened. I was doing nothing and nothing happened. I had a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old at the time, and my wife said, if you're gonna sit down and cry and whine, you might as well join the 3-year-old, but I'm not hanging around to see it happen. And he said
Mm-hmm.
that woke him up a little bit. But he said, I'm a praying guy, so I keep praying. I said, God, but I'm asking. He said, one day my wife passed. She said, of course, God answered you the first prayer. I don't know why you keep bothering him for the rest. Because he told you what to do. Go get a job. You can't practice anymore because right now you don't have the money to open a shop. You either
Mm-hmm.
hang with somebody else who have something hang up, or you go get a different job. And somebody helped him get the job. He was after that he went back to school and get whatever else he needed to get himself. But his point was, when you sit down with whatever you're sitting down with, nothing happens because you're done answered already. And so God made clearance for you. And he said, whether you believe in God or not, I'm telling you guys, he makes clearance for you. So you get up and you take the clearance. Now, sometimes it's not right what you want, but he's leading you to the next thing. So you have to pass through this gate. I call it a testing station, so you can get to where he wanted to be. So if
Mm.
you're not earning, we talk about earning. So for instance, if you're not earning enough, you are in this position to really look after what's going on right here, right now. You need to finish it to get to where you need to be, to earn where you need to earn. When you earn the money, though, you need to understand how to use it well because what usually happens, you're always having not enough. And it's strictly from you're not using the money well. You're not being a good money manager. You're not
Mm.
strategic with it. And that's something I never used to like to hear when I was not doing well. And people don't like to hear if you're not doing well. It is hard to hear because some part of but you're not dealing with it. But when somebody else say it to you and shine the light, you're like, how did she know? Who told her?
Well, I think it's all over our faces when we're being unsuccessful because
Mhm.
our demeanor changes.
Yes,
Does it
yes,
not? I mean,
yes,
you feel discouraged, you look discouraged.
yes, yes. You just want to crawl up in a hole, and you're like, I just want to go away, do something. I just want to get beside myself and do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
Yes, indeed.
when you earn it, what do you do with it? Like, how are you using this money that you earn weekly by weekly, whether it's a job or a business? The
Mm-hmm.
business works if you work it. A woman said on TikTok, and I'm like, she's so right. The people who says I make six figure in 6 months is the people who work and fail for the past 10, 8 years.
Mm.
And now you're seeing them at the threshold with the 6 months, six figure. But it's not true. Is they're willing to go through all the failure, all the stumbling blocks, all the things that is not working for them to get there. Another lady on TikTok, she's a candle lady. And she said, I have 3 coaches. And people always can't understand. She said, I have 3 coaches. She said, because for me to get to $1 million, I got this coach. And she said she's hard as nail and she gave me so much work. I keep thinking, I have a coach. Why am I doing all this work? She goes, and the lady would just push me. She said straight up to me, if you don't want to make $1 million, it's great. But if you come to me to make $1 million, this is the work you're gonna have to do.
Mm.
And she said when she got the first million, the coach said to her, so where we go from here? And she was like, what? She said, I'm telling you straight up. I said to her, what do you want? I make $1 million already. She goes, where do you want to go from here? And she said, our third appointment was the statement. If you didn't know we want to go from here, we're done. Then you
Mhm.
stay at $1 million. And of course, now she makes like 5 or 6 million, whatever, because of course she's doing the work. And the
Mhm.
work don't end, you're doing the work. But once you get to the understanding that, hey, my product, my services could make $1 million, and here's the things my coach is asking me to do, and here's the things I'm going to whine, cry, crawl, but I'm still going to do because that's what I want to do, then you go do it and you see the reward.
Mm.
And part
Okay.
of my reward is the money, and you get, is money important to me? Like, do I care about it? And why do I care about? Why is it important to me? It's important to me. In her words, I'm going to use her words, because I have a 4-year-old to look after.
Okay.
I'm a single mom. I got, in her case, I got divorced. My husband left me with all these bills. I'm still doing all these things. I got a mom that I'm looking after. Like, it was important, but she wasn't seeing the importance, even though if you ask her, she was seeing it. But the testing stations to get to actually hold it and feel it and be there was where she was falling off. Now, she didn't say that, but I'm saying that because I know it's the testing station that causes the problem.
You know something, Coach. We have been taught so long that it is greedy to seek
Yes,
after money, and
yes,
that we shouldn't be quote unquote running after money. I
right.
don't. And I think that's a matter of perception. What we're doing is we're looking for something that will relieve the pressure and address the different obligations that we have in our lives, and the fact that we want to bless others. If you don't
Yes,
have any surplus, you can't bless others.
exactly.
And if you don't have enough, you can't bless the people that you love. You can't take care of them. I think we need to flip the script and change the language
Yes,
around why we want and need money.
exactly, exactly.
So that
My favorite quote is, we're born wealthy, but we got to work towards our riches. It
mhm,
doesn't just fall in your lap. It's just a fact.
you know what I mean? And then we say, well, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to. Wait a minute, but yet you want to do all these philanthropic things. You want things for your children. You want to leave a legacy. What are you going? How are you going to do that?
How you gonna do that? How you gonna
Yeah,
do that? How are you going to do that? Even the people who give to people, they have to go out and work hard. They got to go beg. They got to write proposals. They're still doing all that work to get the money. Even if you had
exactly.
millions of dollars and you decide to give it away, over time you won't be able to continuously do it. So you got to keep asking and getting grants and getting people involved, and just the sheer energy to do it. You just won't have it as a one man person or woman. You
Mhm,
need people with you, the people who give homeless food, the people who look after different things. They need people behind them. They have
mhm,
to. Like, sometimes I hear when people, I was in a group of people talking about Joel Osteen, that how they got so much and the church is rich, so why are they begging for more money? Well, he's showing you what they're doing, and if they're doing it, they need people to come in. They need supporters. They can be everywhere. I don't care who you are. Only God could be everywhere. One person
mhm.
cannot be everywhere. You cannot.
And the bank wants their money. They want their money for that
Yes,
stadium. They want
yes,
their money for those
mhm,
mission trips. They want their
yes,
money for plane trips.
yes,
You know,
yes.
it just, and then the people running the cameras, operating the ventilation systems, all of these people are part
Has
of
to be paid
this.
because they have their families to support. So if they're not supported, how is this going to happen? When I first give money for missions in my church, I remember the young lady we ended up there talking about it. She was in university. She wanted to be on mission. She has a little part-time job, but she was looking at, and I literally hear somebody grumbling behind me, well, if she want to go on missions, why don't she get her money? And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't get into the conversation, but I thought how poorly your thoughts are, because this is a young woman who want to go do the work for God. She's positioning herself, and if you don't have it, shush. But don't be getting in a group of people and
Don't
have a
grumble.
conversation and grumbling in the service situation here. Like, wait till you get outside. If you must speak on it, wait until you're out of there to talk about it.
Well,
But
if you know what I know, you will not mumble, or you might spend another 40 years in the desert.
right?
You know,
Just shh, just shh. And if when you get around to it, I started looking at it differently. I'm like, so how could I save towards helping this young woman? And even if I can't help her, how could I help others? So now I'm in the office finding out how it runs, how it works.
hmm
Should I just do towards one person or as a whole? And then I come away and make my decision. Well, I want to help this individual, and then I want to
hmm
help this group of people. And then, I'd known a couple of the young ladies in there, and personally that I want to help. Or I had clients at the time I used to do hair, and she had a young people group. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to donate to the group because she's saying some of the young women don't really do anything. And she really their group want to really like take them around, not anywhere but right here in Toronto, and just show them places and just be in a community situation. But they need funds. So I'd fund it because it's interesting to me if a young person really want to do works and they don't have the opportunity, but there's a group of people who want to show them how. Come on, that's
I'm with you. I'd much rather write the check.
right, right.
Mhm.
So we can't do those things though if we're not earning, or when we earn and be strategic with it and understand the purpose of it. And if you think money is not important to you, then it's not importantly coming to you.
Well, the Bible says money answereth all things. So you're going to need it when it's time to answer.
You're gonna need it. Imagine you're in an apartment and the rent raise. If you can't pay it, you got to leave. Even if you get 60 days, you still gotta leave. If you get 90 days, you still gotta leave. Interest rates are going up. They can look for every loophole to see how high they can carry you. It's just facts of life. And you have to live somewhere. You need shelter.
Yes.
You
Yes,
need
you do.
shelter. So you got to live somewhere. So all these things you got to think about. So when you earn your money, don't look at it as a burden to set a budget. Don't look at it as a burden. Most people, not everybody, but most people who's got earning had cut back on things. Had under set a budget, sorry, has cut back on things, has understood that if they're working this job right now and it's paying this amount, they need to either educate themselves, understand how the next move is and what the next job is. Excuse me. A lot of people talk about it on TikTok about the tech. I might be working 50 grand a year here, but I'm aiming for 80. Then I'm aiming for 120. Like they set out strategically how they're gonna make their moves and where they need to be. And that's no difference if you have a business. I started my business this year, and I'm hopeful with everything that I want to make $50,000. That's all I want to make. Now, you got to come backwards understanding what that's going to look like throughout the year, activity wise, marketing wise, sales wise, to earn you that money. Some people might say, I want to make 100,000 a year. Is it, you have to understand in your head, is it revenue that you want to make 100,000? Or is it gross? Is it net? You got to know what it is, because revenue means the expenses are still in there. So this is my business is going to make 100,000 as revenue. What is going to be actually my pay? What am I being paid for? How do I get money? How do I make money out of this? Now, this part here that I'm going to sanction quickly, most people do not want to do. And according to the government and according to everybody, if you do business, this is not how it's done. But for the person who's starting off really tiny and small, I always encourage them to have have material cost of his product and have a labor cost in there, because eventually you're going to be paying for labor. Have it
Mm.
there so that you understand your true expenses and your true profits in your business. You're not getting all excited about everything that you were getting, because when I was young and didn't know, everything other than material I thought was mine. And I had to realize over time, to make everything work right, that these are things I got to cater for. So you got to cater for labor, sorry. And I noticed because the first person I hired was my sister, and then I hired her two friends. I have three workers, three people working for me, right? And I didn't cater for them, and so the business wasn't as profitable as I thought it was once I get these people in place. Even though the business increased, it still wasn't profitable. But that's
Mm.
because the first model was catering only to myself. So if I'm getting paid, that's fine. But once I brought on the three employees, it was harder for me to get paid. So I had to change up the model to suit employees. And my mind went to, okay, so I need 6 employees. How do I bring them in? At what stage? And how do I pay them so that I can still be paid?
Okay.
Still
Oh,
earn.
I think this is something that we overlook
Hmm.
when we're planning, that we don't plan on eventually having employees.
Hmm. Hmm. Because lots of time we'll say, well, this is a one-man show. But even if it's subcontractors, you still got to pay them.
Mhm.
One man shows to get things straightened out, I agree with totally. But once you understand and you build out your system, and if you don't know how, then pay somebody to do it. But once you build out the raw system and you understand what you want to see, because let me tell you, even if you're going to pay somebody to build out your system, you still have to come with the raw goods so they can know how to build it out. They're no magician. You still have to come with that. And so once you understand the rawness of what needs to happen, you want to leave room for contractors, employees if you choose to, but the business have to be able to support all those things. So the business is not earning what it's supposed
Mhm.
to earn. You can't have those people in. You're overworked. The same job you didn't want that was working you like crazy, now you have your business doing the very same thing because you're the worst boss ever. You're not giving yourself holiday. You're not taking days off.
You know what? That's a good segment. Are you the worst boss ever?
I used to be.
Mm,
I
mm,
used to be the worst boss ever, And then once I start hiring people, you start thinking differently. People don't want to hire people, is afraid to delegate. They think people can't do it well. That's what happens initially. And sometimes because you think you got to pay them out more. But I guarantee you, whatever you're paying them, it's worth it. If you're
mm,
paying them $20 and you want to get them a $2 bonus, they're worth it. First of all, you shouldn't be hiring people who can't do the work. And if you're hiring people based on their attitude, which is good, then your job is to train them so that they can do your work well. So you
mhm,
yourself need to train you. I always tell people, I said, you need to train yourself. One girl had asked me one time she wanted to open a cleaning company. And I said to her, I want you to clean your whole house. And I want you to time everything you do.
mhm.
And then a week later, I want you to clean your house again and again. You want you to time it. And I want you to do it for 30 days. And the reason I want you to do it because I want you to see. I want you to understand what you're going to be sending out somebody to do. I want you to understand what it takes to get it done. I want you to see timing. Everybody's house is different and kept differently. But since you told me you're messy, I want you to see what it entails. When you understand that, you understand how to hire, you understand the kind of attitude you're looking for, you understand what irritates you, what upsets you. So when you send out a cleaner, they're gonna feel not everything, but partially that. But you can empathize with them, and you want to be able to do that. If not, she says, "Karen, after 2 weeks, I know I don't want to have a cleaning company. It just
Mm,
irritates." But you know what? She didn't get products and start a company. She get to
okay.
experience. This is not what I want to do. Now she could overcome that. Don't get me wrong, and she could still work through. But she knew who she was as a person. She said, "I don't want to do it.
This is
That's
not
not my
what I'm about.
no."
Mhm.
And it's good. It's good. And even if
That's
you're in a business right now and you don't like what you're doing, you don't want to do
mhm.
it, do not apologize to anybody. Just close the business, please. If you got
Okay.
enough money in it, sell it. But don't pressure yourself. Don't don't show up for people because they're gonna think you look good about the business. No, 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 no. Leave it alone. If it's done, it's finished. Period. I've
Mm,
closed many businesses. I didn't tell anybody about it. Whenever you find me, you ask, Karen, you don't? No, I don't have a daycare anymore. Why? I just don't. I'm not explaining it to you. Why? I closed my daycare business and I had clients. I was filled, but I was burnt out. I
mhm,
was ready. And everybody's, but you can employ people. I could have, but I didn't want to. I'm ready to move on. It was okay. It
mhm.
was good when it lasted. It was good money when it was there. And I recognized, that's not what I want to do. Once my son
Okay.
went to kindergarten, it was over. No apologies. Do
Wow.
not
You
apologize.
guys heard that. So let's recap, Karen.
Okay.
So we
So
know
today
that
we talked about earnings. We talk about what do you do and how you get paid and how to make sure those pay is doing what it's supposed to do because life happens, inflation and all these other things
excuse
that
me.
happens if we're alive, right?
Mhm.
And when you earn it, what you do with it. And then is money important to you? Because if it is, you understand the importance of it.
Mhm. Okay, guys, you heard it from Coach Karen and Terralina. We're drinking water here.
Water. We're the water girls.
Mhm. So we want to thank you so much, Coach,
Oh, you're welcome.
for all that you do and for dropping in here and dropping these nuggets on us. Cecilia, our number one fan, we want to say a shout out to you.
Yes, girl.
And I just want to remind everybody it's okay to be successful in your business
Hmm.
and go to the front of your own line. If you're
Yes,
looking for Coach
yes.
Caren, you can find her at Profits in Daily.
Hmm.
And I'm going to put the meme up here because sometimes I don't always pronounce it properly, but Profits in Daily on Facebook, Instagram, and other places on the web. So if you're looking for a coach, because everybody needs a cheerleader, a coach, and a community, be sure to drop in on Coach Karen and give her give her a call if you're in need of advice. We also want you to know that you can join BizChicks by texting Biz to 33777. We'd love for you to be a part of our community, and we look forward to hearing from you so that we can help you promote your business and go to the front of your own line. Cecilia says, "Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Cecilia, for all that you
Yeah.
do."
Yes. Thank you.
Mhm. And so I just want to say, Coach, we really do appreciate you. We know that you have to take time out of your busy day to come in and help us out. And the Biz Chicks and our community really does appreciate you. So we thank you again. If you didn't catch First Mondays, you want to catch the replay because Coach Caren talked about bookkeeping. Mm. So you need to, if you need that information in your life, you need to go back and watch the replay on that. So until next time, remember, go to the front of your own line. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye, everyone.